And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and this is our Week 16 preview of the 2024 MLR season. We have an exciting weekend of footy, 4 days of action. So, not just Saturday, Sunday, but we also have games on Friday, and I believe this is the first time ever, Monday night footy. A first for Major League Rugby. Also, what's exciting is 4 of these 6 games will be on Fox Sports networks, Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2. I'll differentiate which ones are on which. So that is huge for Major League Rugby. Again, it is an exciting week of rugby action. All teams are playing. Every game, with the exception of one, and that game might actually be the most exciting game of the weekend, has playoff implications. So let's break down the playoff scenarios right now. I'm going to bring up first the Western Conference standings. And so as you see, Houston sitting on top. I'm going to tell you what teams have clinched the playoffs so far. Houston, Seattle, and San Diego have all made it into the playoffs. So 3 out of the 4 teams. Remember, this year the format is top 4 teams in each conference go to the playoffs. They'll play against each other. 1 seed goes against 4, 2 versus 3. Then they'll play in the conference championship, and then the winning Western Conference champion, Eastern Conference champion plays off in the Major League Rugby Championship game in Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego. So, as I mentioned before, the top 3 teams, Houston, Seattle, and San Diego, have made it into the playoffs. They're done. Dallas, though, is fighting for that last spot with both Utah and LA. Yes, Utah and LA theoretically, mathematically, are still in the playoffs. The way that it works, though, Dallas just needs 7 points to pretty much secure themselves a playoff spot. However they get those points. Remember, you can get a bonus point for a win, so technically you can get the most out of a winning game, 5 points. Technically, the most you can get out of losing a game. You get a bonus point for scoring 4 tries. You get a losing bonus point if you're within 7. So technically, even a loss by Dallas, they can still get 2 bonus points. So however you can arrange the 7 points, if Dallas gets that, they are automatically in. Also, if Dallas wins 1 game and Utah and LA both lose a game, they are out of the playoffs. So technically, this weekend, Dallas can secure themselves a spot if they win a game and both Utah and LA lose their game. And coincidentally, all 3 teams are playing individually separate games. So Dallas wins their game, then they have secured a spot. If Utah and LA both lose their games and Dallas wins, Utah and LA are out of the playoffs. So that's the Western Conference. Let's get over to the Eastern Conference. And right now in the Eastern Conference, only 2 teams have secured themselves in the playoffs. That's your reigning defending MLR champions, the New England Free Jacks, NOLA, which again is the shocker to me, and then you have Chicago and Old Glory currently sitting tied with 31 points each in the last 2 playoff spots. Miami is on the outside looking in. Unfortunately, new team Anthem Rugby Carolina, they are out of the playoffs. They cannot make it at all. Miami mathematically still has a shot. Now, similar to Dallas in the West, Chicago and Old Glory just need 7 points to secure themselves their playoff spot, however they manage to do it. Also, just like with the West, if Chicago and Old Glory win their games and Miami loses a game, Miami is out of the playoffs. So, again, this week, coincidentally, Chicago, Old Glory, and Miami are all playing different individual games, so there is a possibility this weekend both Chicago and Old Glory can secure their playoff spots if they win and Miami loses their game, which, when we go over our review, might be a little difficult, but who knows? There might be a spoiler in this weekend preview. So those are the playoff scenarios that we're facing. Here comes the preview. So, as I mentioned before, we have a full 4 days of Major League Rugby goodness, starting with Friday, June 14th, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have Old Glory going over to Choctaw Stadium to take on the Dallas Jackals. This game will be on Fox Sports 2. So now, Usually all these games are live and on demand on the Rugby Network. 2 of the games will be. The other 4 games will be on Fox Sports channels. Now, it does not mean that you can't watch them on the Rugby Network. You just have to wait 24 hours later in order to watch them. If you want to watch them live and on demand, you have to kind of go to the Fox Sports channels to watch those. So, this game is going to be Fox Sports 2, Old Glory at Dallas. Now, surprisingly, with this rivalry, there's only been 2 games played between these 2 teams. Both of those games have been won by Old Glory. Oddly enough, the point spread on those games have been really weird. Last year, when Old Glory and Dallas faced off against each other, Old Glory won 7-3. I don't know if that was a rained out game or anything like that, because it's a very odd score. I can't remember. But then the very first time these 2 teams played against each other, Old Glory slaughtered Dallas 50-10. I don't think it's going to be like that this time around. Old Glory, though, is kind of on a momentum high, though they did lose barely by 1 point against New England Free Jacks. They have won 3 of their last 5 games. Dallas, though, even though they just beat Chicago by 2 points, they have only won 2 of their last 5 games. Now, with that being said, I think a lot of momentum is going to Dallas. It's being played in Choctaw Stadium. Dallas really wants to make a playoff. I mean, this is their 3rd year in the league. It'd be great for this franchise if they can do it. They've improved tremendously. Old Glory's a weird team where, again, they seem to struggle, but for whatever reason, they always play New England really tough. That game really made me kind of wonder if Old Glory was on the rise. I think, though, Dallas in the end will get the win in this game. Then we move on to Saturday, where we only have 1 game. And this is the game that really has no effect on anything. Both Houston and Seattle have already secured their spots. Them playing really doesn't affect anything except for maybe playoff home pitch advantage. But both 1 and 2 spot positions in the Western Conference, I don't think it really changes that much. By the way, again, Dallas needs to win this game in order to secure themselves, or try to secure themselves a playoff spot. Old Glory needs to win their game to try to secure a playoff spot. So both of these teams are really going to play hard in this game. Now, this game, I really don't know if Houston and Seattle are going to front, their starters. They might rest because, again, this game really doesn't have too many implications. By the way, this game is also going to be on Fox Sports 1, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if both teams kind of just go with more reserves and then just wait and fulfill, because this is going to be a very physical game. It's a Western rivalry. It's going to be a very hard-hitting game. I can really see both teams kind of fronting more of their reserves rather than their starters, just to give people a little chance to rest, especially to make that playoff push. Because, again, both teams have already secured themselves playoff spots, pretty much up there on the 1 and 2 spot for the Western Conference. Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna have their starters playing. In this rivalry between Seattle and Houston, Seattle is up 9 wins over Houston's 3, though Houston just recently beat Seattle this season 42-40. What a shootout of a game. Houston is, of course, only suffering 1 loss this season. They are on a 7-game win streak right now. Seattle has a little bit of a 2-game win streak going right now. But they definitely are a shaky Seattle team because of all the injuries. Again, if they're all reserves, it kind of changes things. So I'm going to just go with the home pitch advantage, and I think Houston continues their dominance in the league right now as the only 1-loss team in all of Major League Rugby. Then we move on to Sunday, where we have the first of our 2 games. First of 3 games. Sunday, June 16th, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Utah Warriors hobble, and I mean hobble after that thrashing against Seattle, over 2. Unfortunately, out of the fire into the frying pan. Utah Warriors going to the New England Free Jacks, the reigning defending MLR champions, to play against them in the Veterans Memorial Stadium in Quincy, Massachusetts. Interestingly enough, in this rivalry, it's 2-2, actually. They played each other 4 times. Utah has won 2. New England's won 2. Recently, Utah upsetted New England last season, 26-24. New England, though, is New England. Utah is on a 5-game losing streak, and the last game, man, was a blowout. I just don't think New England is going to really just back down in this, even though, again, New England has a playoff spot. Them losing, I don't think really affects their standings to move out of that first place position. Utah definitely needs to win this game because, again, if they lose and Dallas wins, Utah's out. So, yeah, they really need this win. But unfortunately, I have to go with the defending and reigning MLR champions. And let's pick up where we last left off as we continue the rest of the games of the weekend slate. Forgot to mention, these next couple games are going to be on Father's Day Sunday. So again, if you have a father, give him a hug, let him know that you love him and that you appreciate all that he's done for you. I know that there's a lot of proud fathers out there who would love to watch a rugby game. So give them something to do on Father's Day. Let's watch some great rugby. And again, there's going to be a lot of great games here. So again, Sunday, June 16th, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. A very, very interesting game between two of the new kids on the block. Miami Sharks taking on Anthem Rugby, playing them at American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte. This is the second time that these two teams have played against each other. Miami destroyed Anthem last time, 50-21. Miami is looking like a good team, though they have lost the last 2 games. Anthem, though, came very close in their game against San Diego. Again, Anthem could play spoiler here, okay? Miami needs to win this game in order to keep their playoff dreams alive. Anthem has nothing left to play for except to be a spoiler here. As much as it would be not out of the realm of impossibility for a upset here, I'm going to go with Miami because I do believe Miami will continue to show a good performance here, but Anthem, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull off the upset. And the last game on Sunday is the 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. NOLA Gold taking on Rugby Football Club LA at Dignity Health Sports Park, and of course I will be there. It is the last home game for the RFC LA, so if you're in the LA area, please come out. It's going to be an awesome game. Again, playoff implications here. Both teams need a win in order to secure them. Actually, NOLA doesn't need the win to secure themselves playoffs because they're in, but LA needs to win this game, especially if Dallas wins their game in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. And it's a very winnable game. These two teams have never played against each other, even though NOLA is my second highest ranked team on the power rankings. I mean, they can be kind of inconsistent. LA has to play a great game. They have to be disciplined. And I think with the LA support that they can do it. You know I'm going to give them my support. I'm going to go with the hometown, and hopefully we'll keep our playoff hopes alive. Then, also too, this game, the NOLA and LA one, is not going to be on Fox Sports, but it will be streamed live on YouTube. I believe it might only be for people outside of the United States. If it's wrong, I'll correct myself. But if you don't want to watch on the Rugby Network, I don't know why you wouldn't. You can watch it on the Major League Rugby YouTube channel. It will be streamed there live. Then, Monday Night Footy comes to Major League Rugby. Monday night, June 17th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. A very, very big showdown between the San Diego Legion going over to SeatGeek Stadium to take on the Chicago Hounds. This will be an interesting one because the Hounds need this win for their playoffs hopes. But at the same time, they are now without Sam Harris, head coach, who has stepped down. If you didn't watch my last video, it was just announced after their loss to the Dallas Jackals. Sam Harris, the only head coach that the Chicago Hounds have known, has stepped down. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know. I mean, we've seen it before mid-season where coaches have left coaching staffs. I believe Atlanta had something like this happen to them before, and they actually turned things around. It was actually kind of interesting. So we'll see if this is necessarily a bad thing for the team or maybe a thing that will unite them. Because again, they still have playoff chances here if they win. San Diego has been a little inconsistent coming into the season. Most of their wins are usually comeback wins because they are the comeback kids. This will be a very, very interesting game. San Diego's on a 3-game winning streak. Unfortunately, Chicago's on a 4-game losing streak. San Diego is up on this rivalry 2-0. You know, I'm going to say I think Chicago is going to be reeling from the loss of Sam Harris, and I think San Diego is going to be in overdrive on this one. So I'm going to give San Diego the lead here, and I'm going to have them winning over the Chicago Hounds. So again, a fun night. Oh, and this game is going to be on Fox Sports 1. Fun night, fun weekend of footy. We have Father's Day again. Tell your father you love them. Have them watch rugby. 3 amazing games. A whole weekend of rugby action. So many playoff implications on this. So again, it will be a lot of fun as we get to the closing of this exciting 2024 season. As always, thank you very much for watching my videos. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you on the pitch.